everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Amy's Inspiration Station, which is on the Altenew YouTube and Facebook channels. And I hope that you are having an absolutely fabulous day. And I see Shiomara there. And let me know if you are here today, if everything is working out okay on your end with my technology today. Hi, Sue. Hey, Keisha. I'm so glad you are here. I'm so excited. And we are talking Altenew artist markers today. So I'm so excited. I've seen some sales going on with artist markers. And so I wanted to get them in there and talk to you guys about them. So any questions that you have about artist markers or alcohol markers or coloring, let me know in those comments. And I'd love to know if this is your first time here. And I'd also love to know if you kind of like set your schedule and you're like, I know Altenew goes live on Mondays and Thursdays, and I am always here for this. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions about alcohol markers, about artist markers, and if it's your first time here or if you are pretty much a seasoned regular. And I see Shiomara, who I know, and Cece, who are seasoned regulars, and Sue, I hope you are doing well. Boy, Sue, is it hot where we are. And Teresa is here. And hi, Miss Tamp. How are you doing? And Mary Ann is here. Hi, Mary Ann. And it's so nice to see you guys. And if you guys, I know, Sue, you are I'm so glad you're here too, Sue. And if you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win a gift card. And we have the fabulous Keisha, who is behind the badge. And Sue, I hope that you are staying cool, maybe staying inside, maybe doing a little bit of coloring. Let me know. And since we're in a little bit of a heat wave up here in the Northeast, I thought I'd do a summertime card, which I think would be really super fun. And so that's what I'm going to come down and show you. So let me know if you have any questions about artist markers. I'm going to go through inks. I'm going to go through some different techniques to do with artist markers besides just kind of straight coloring. And the coloring I'm going to do is pretty simple coloring today, so I'm not going to get into anything too crazy. Oh, I know. Me too, Sue. I am very, very lucky. Hi, Julia. It is so nice to see you from Tennessee. And thank you so much, Keisha, for adding that in. Please share this live while we're live and let other people know about all of the fabulous inspiration that you get from these live sessions. And Marianne, I'm so glad that you do try to watch them Mondays and Thursdays. And Teresa, I love them too. And Miss Tamp, thank you so much for sharing this to IG. Oh, Sue, you're making water lilies with a craft a flower set. Oh, that's got to be a gorgeous one. I don't think I have that one. I have to put that one on my list because I need to do another Altenew order soon. All right, I'm going to cut down to my mat. As I'm doing that, go ahead and give me some questions that you have about artist markers, and we'll try to get those answered. All right, so this is what we are playing with. I know I have a koi set, and I don't think I have water lily. I got to double check. I have quite a few craft a flower sets, so I have to take a look at those. And I'm going to just zoom in a little bit. I just realized how far out I am, and I should have fixed that. So I apologize right now. I'm just going to zoom in. I hope that's okay. And Teresa, thank you so much for giving us a thumbs up and for sharing it. And you too can be like Teresa and Miss Tamp, and you can be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. All right. So are the alcohol markers the artist markers? Yes, they are. And by the way, my Boston accent is going to come out wicked big time today because I can't say the word marker or marker. I have to say marker. There we go. So you can also tell this is where I'm from, Boston area. There are markers. All right. So this is an example. And I have to tell you, I went through my my set. Oh my gosh, I have a lot of them. And so this is a set. I haven't pulled it out yet, but this is one of the latest ones called the Mystic Garden set. And so when you get artist markers, I like getting them in this box, which is where you get a set of 12. And you have 4 of 3 colors. Here they are. And so this is nice. This has a blue, a green, and a like an orangey pink. And it's nice because you just use these and just use this entire set. And that's the way I love that they're packaged. I think when you get them this way, you also can get them in sets of 4 where they're in the Altenew color families. And that's fabulous as well. So that's a nice thing. And thank you so much, Keisha, for putting in that alcohol marker set list. And Marianne, I'm so glad you love Boston and that you're a Red Sox fan. which I appreciate. If Nancy comes on, she watches the Giants. So we have some issues there. And Sue from New Jersey. Oh my gosh, real feel 106. Terrible. Awful. Oh my gosh. Oh, hello from California. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, wow. I'll have to check that one out too, Teresa. I haven't bought anything super new. One of the things I wanted to point out is that when you get the 12, they come with this little container. And this container I use because I pull all these out and I have like another way that I handle. But I use these containers to store my mini blending tools. And I love that because they're always so neat. So that's nice. Oh, that's a great idea, Ms. Tamp. Those smaller sets are if you need to replace a marker. And I don't have them today, but the alcohol inks, and I don't think I have any right next to me. The alcohol inks, which you could also use if you want to do some alcohol inking, those are also the refills for the markers, and the markers are really easy to do. You just pull out one of the tips and just add a couple of drops in, and then you're good to go with it. So it's re-inking is really easy. And so I wanted to play around with that. So that's just one of the things about that. And then if you're kind of new to alcohol markers at all, and I'm sad to say that this is out of stock, but it's still on the website. And that is the Exotic Blooms Marker Coloring Book. I love this. It comes either you can get it individually, but I would suggest just getting it as the package, which comes with the watercolor. And then it also comes with the Exotic Blooms Marker Coloring Book. This paper is, I need Altenew to just make this marker paper because it's absolutely fabulous. And what's great about this is it gives you all of these 12 designs of these beautiful florals, but you get them in both lined and no line. And so that way you can kind of practice both of them. And this is printed on there, so nothing's going to move or be funky or, bleed out. And you're not like, oh my gosh, which black ink do I use? So they're all on here and they're gorgeous. And these are the things that I kind of take on the go when I have them. There is a watercolor version that comes with this really amazing watercolor paper. And they're the same designs on both of these, but the marker book I would really recommend. Always fabulous. All right, so we have Kathy. Hi, Kathy. I'm so glad you're here. And Lisbeth is here. And again, please share this live while we're live, and you'll be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. And we have Keisha behind the bash today, so please give Keisha a little bit of love. And this is another marker coloring sheet. This one I've used with a lot of different ones. I take this to meetings and I pass them out to people. And we just kind of color while we're at meetings because I can't sit still at all in a meeting. And so this is cute because it comes with a lot of little different things too. So that's just some ideas. If you're like, I don't know what to color, just grab one of these coloring books and share them out. I give this a lot as gifts. I'll grab like a package of markers and give this as a little gift. And that's kind of a cute gift to get with somebody, if they're just starting out with artist markers or whatnot. So kind of cute there. All right, so let's get into what I was planning on doing with you guys today. And I had a lot of techniques that I wanted to throw in here. So I apologize that it's just one card, but there's a lot going on. So let's break this sucker down. All right, so I'm using this set, and it's an absolutely adorable set, and it's called Summer Wishes. And this set does come with a die set and a simple coloring stencil, neither of which I have. Because sometimes I go in there and I'm like, I'll just get the set. And I keep making that mistakes, and I should have just bought the other stuff too, but I didn't. So I just have the stamp set. Guess what I'll be buying later, which will be the die set and the simple coloring stencil. And this is really cute because it comes with all of these different shells. And I really love this little beach chair and the flip-flops and the little radio. And this is really where I should be right now, is out on Cape Cod, sitting on the beach in my chair with an umbrella, listening to some great tunes on a super hot day like this. So I thought that was cute. I have a second card if I get to today, which I doubt, which is just a simple card using the different shells. And I just have them arranged just so, and I was going to color them in and color them in the background squares as well. But Don't know if I'm going to get there, but I have it kind of off to the side just in case if we get there, just to show you the versatility of this. And then these really cute little sentiments that have a main sentiment and then a sub sentiment. And I thought this was really cute too. All right, so let's break it down what we did today. So this is a 1-layer card because I have no dies. So this is a 1-layer card. And what I have here is a lot of masking. So I'm going to talk to you about that first. And then I have stenciling up here. I blended using my artist markers. I blended a little ocean background. And then I also blended a little sand dune. And then I don't know if you can tell, but I did like this little melange of different embossing powders to create this look. And then I just did some simple coloring on the main images that I have in here just to put that. Yeah, I love that too, Sue, because I almost need like the sets that have sentiments, because otherwise I don't always know what to pull. And Miss Tamp, I agree with you, and I missed that date because they just, for those of you who don't know, in the United States, they just increased the postage rates again, and now we're up to, I think it's 73 cents. And so if you don't need to add extra postage, let's say that I'm going for a lot of these 1-layer cards. So it's kind of cool. That's what I'm going to say. It's kind of cool. All right, so let me show you what the heck we did with this. So a lot of times when I get a stamp set like this and I don't have the coordinating dies, is I'll just grab a piece of masking paper. And Altenew masking paper is super fabulous. It comes with one side that has this really beautiful printed sheet, and these come in 8.5 by 11 sheets, by the way, so or very large sheets. So I have them. I just keep them in the storage folder, you know, just in case if there's like any extra bits and stuff, I can just shove them in here. And with this, what you do is you stamp on the white side, and then you can cut it out. And so that's what I did here. Is so I have all these. I haven't cut these because I'm not going to use them. But I just end up, you know, stamping all of them, and then I cut them out. And then what I can do is just stick them right onto my packaging, and that way I always have them, right? And then I cut out my little sandals that I'm going to use, and now I'm just going to finish cutting out my little beach chair. And when I'm cutting this out, I want to make sure, and these scissors, by the way, these are the Altenew fine tip scissors. These are fabulous because of the fact that they are really easy to use. I actually like them better than my spring-loaded scissors. And they are really super fine. So I'm really able to get into these little nooks and crannies very easily. And because I'm going to use this as a mask, I want to make sure that I'm cutting right on or as close to that black line, that outline as possible. So I'm getting right up close and personal with this. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing I don't have my glasses on. So give me a second. I can't do it. Oh, yeah, that's 3 of the 50 stamp rolls. That's what I should have done, Teresa. And I keep kicking myself. I woke up Sunday and I was like, no, Amy, you forgot it. And I was on my to-do list, and the day got away with me. And then I forgot. So now I have a bunch left over from when it was 60 cents and not the 63, but that's okay. But again, I've been kind of doing a lot of 1-layer cards lately because the United States Postal Service has been increasing the postal rates. And that way I don't have to worry about anything. I know it can get through. All right, so, and I got to say, like, all my cards that I do layers and like lots and lots of things, I usually will hand deliver those. So those are the cards that I end up hand delivering. So that way I don't have to worry about postage. But most everybody, I mail it if it's going to be, you know, kind of crazy. Oh, yeah. All right. So I hope everybody's having a nice summer. I thought about this beach chair. I don't know if anybody else is a beach person. I am a beach person. I love the beach. I love to just go and sit. I don't need to go in the water. I'm on the Atlantic Ocean, but the Northern Atlantic Ocean. So we go in, but it's usually like a balmy 60 degrees Fahrenheit or so. So it's still kind of cold up here. And of course, we have some gorgeous beaches near where I live on Cape Cod, but don't always go down there. Summer is a little crazy because of all the tourists that come in. All right, so I'm just getting, and you can see how I can get in there with these fine detail scissors. These are really, really fabulous scissors. Okay, so now I have this great mask, and I do try to save these masks because I can reuse them. Now on this card, because I did so many different things, my masks that I used the first time, they did not do so well, but that's okay. If you're mailing one layer card, what's the price to mail them? This one would just go through the mail fine because it can go through the machine. There's no difference with it. So this one's totally fine. Even if it had like just a little bit of a layer on it, that one I find to go through as well. Yeah, yes, Kathy. So Northern California, exactly. I know. I've been out to the northwest of the Pacific Northwest, and that is it's very similar to here, where you just are excited to be on the beach. All right, so I'm going to grab a piece of paper, actual paper, and paper is important when you're coloring because you want the colors to soak in, but not soak in so much that they feather. And so I use a Bristol cardstock. I happen to think that one I think it works really well. And so that's what I'm going to use. Now, eventually we'll cut this down, but I'll do that later. But I'm going to start by stamping everything. All right. So what I'm doing is I want to make sure that my little chair has a little beach to sit on. And I'm going to create these little sand dunes. So I'm just going to, in my stamp wheel, I'm just going to place my piece of paper, and then I'm going to grab my stamps. And if you want, you can grab just a pencil and just very lightly just kind of think about where, everything's going to go. I can always erase this later. And that can help me to figure out where I'm going to be placing everything. And you can see I have 3 layers. So I have sky, ocean, and sand. So I'm going to place my beach chair right over here. And I decided to offset it a little bit instead of putting it like smack dab in the middle, just to kind of give the eye something else to look at. So if that image is not smack dab in the middle, it forces your eye to kind of move around the card. And so that's where my sentiment is going to end up being. So that way the eye can focus on that sentiment. All right, so I'm going to grab, I'm going to do Have a Marvelous Day. And I'm going to grab that. I'm just going to put this right off to the side. And of course, because I'm going to be sitting in my chair, I need my flip-flops. So my flip-flops have been kicked off, and here they are just sitting right next to my chair. I think I'm going to move this right up there. All right. Hey, Nancy, we were just talking some Red Sox and how hot it is out. I hope the Giants are doing okay. I haven't looked yet because I usually wait until after the All-Star break to start watching. All right, here we go. So I'm going to stamp this in a black ink, and this is a little bit of science here. So these are alcohol-based markers. So if I were to use an ink, which is my favorite black ink, which is Obsidian, this is very similar because this is, even though it's oil-based, this is going to bleed. So this is not the best ink to use with alcohol markers. So this is the one time that I will not be using Obsidian. Instead, what I strongly suggest is to use the permanent black ink. Permanent black ink, and they do now sell it in a round ink pad. The permanent black ink is fabulous to use because this one goes with everything. If you're trying a new medium of coloring and you're just not, sure about what to use, this is what you should use, is the permanent black ink. So this is my go-to, and it even says formulated for use with Altenew artist markers. So this is my go-to for this. Now, if you want to, if you're like, I don't have that, you can also use a dye-based ink because this is water-based. And so water and alcohol, water and oil, they don't mix. And so this will be okay. You might have some slight feathering, but it will be very minimal. So you could also use this. So I'm actually going to end up using both. My permanent ink, like my permanent black, when I use it, what happens a lot is it takes me like 3,000 times. I don't know why. just kind of is me in permanent black. So I'm going to instead come in with my jet black. I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to finish up with my permanent black. And that's just because I get a little bit of a better stamping with the jet black. And this way I can see where the heck everything's going to go. And then I'll put that over. Because I'm putting the permanent black on top of it, that's the thing that's going to come in contact with my markers when I'm ready to color. All right, so this is my first step as I'm going to do it. Hi, Lisa. Is this your first live? I'm so excited that you're here. We are on Thursdays and Mondays on the Altenew YouTube and Facebook channels. And we have Keisha behind the badge today. So I'm so excited that she is here. Putting some links in the chat if you guys are interested in any sort of shopping. All right, so now that I have that, I'm going to come in with my permanent black ink. And I have already treated these with my stamp conditioner erasers. So that's why you did not see me use that. All right, so again, permanent black. This is my recommendation if you're using, and you can use this with watercolor. You can use this with colored pencils. You can use this with artist markers. You can use it with any medium. So it's really, really super great. Oh, I'm glad you guys are talking about postage in there. I'm a little bit miffed about it. Gotta tell you. All right, and I'm gonna just ink this up one more time just to make sure I get a nice crisp image. Now, because I'm gonna be coloring over all of this, I'm going to take a moment to use some clear embossing powder just on my sentiment. And since I have this permanent black ink, it takes a second to dry. So I have some time to use some clear embossing powder, and that's going to protect my sentiment from anything that I'm doing. I also, if I wanted to, could use white. That way my sentiment would really pop out from behind my, my ocean. But I'm going to use, just keep this black and just put some clear on top of it. Okay, my have is a little crazy there. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. All right, so now I'm going to grab this. You do want to make sure that this is dry. Oops. You do want to make sure that this is dry. So it's a good idea to hit it with your heat tool anyway, just to make sure that it's dry. Now, I don't want to go anywhere else. I only want to hit up my sentiment. So I'm not going to put the clear embossing powder over everything. I don't need to. So I'm just going to hit up my sentiment. That's it. Okay. No way. In 4th place and 9 games behind? That's crazy. That's really good. Oh, yeah. Hi, Marianne. You're new to card making and haven't asked about stamp and mailing charges. Yes. There is something you can do, Marianne, which is to do something called hand cancel. And what that means is that, so there's a machine that will process the cards, right? So when you put something in, there's a machine, and the machine kind of sorts the mail in the United States postal system. And if you have a card that just won't fit it, you can get it hand fed or hand done. And that way you can make sure that, you know, if you have little doodads or anything on there, they won't, they'll be able to stay safe, which is great. All right, so I'm just going to come in. I'm just going to erase those lines I put in. And I noticed that my sandals did not do a fabulous job. So fortunately, I can come in because I still have this on my board, is I can come in and just get those sandals real quick. And you've noticed that I dried off the ink, so I can just make sure that that's all done. And that's the great thing about using something like the stamp wheel. And that's why I did not take my stuff off, because now I got a little edge. Okay, good. All right, so now I'm good. I got my edge. You can also go in with like a pen. Again, you just have to make sure that you're going in with a pen that is compatible. So don't go in with like a Sharpie. because that's not going to work very well. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to grab my masks. So I've already stamped these out. I've already cut these out. And I'm just going to place these masks over my stamped images. And notice I have not colored these first. And that's just because I don't want to take the time and then put these masks on and have things rip or make a mess or anything at all. So I'm going to put these on and I will color my images last. And that way, if anything gets through, this doesn't bleed under this, which is great. But if anything were to happen, I can, my image is protected and I haven't spent all that time doing the image itself. Okay, and that just goes right on there. And you can see it, looks great. And this is a really, really easy way to get everything done. Oh, hi, Chris. I'm so glad. This is such an adorable stamp set. So this is the Summer Wishes stamp set. And it's from 2022, I think. So it's a little bit out there, but it's still a great one. And I figured it's a nice little celebration of summer and making me wish I was out on the beach. I want to know if anybody's been out on the beach, chilling, flip-flops in the sand, maybe an adult beverage. Fabulous. Okay. All right. So now my next thing that I want to do is I'm actually going to add some other masks. And those masks I've already cut out, but I'm going to show you how I did them. So all I did was just take a piece of scrap masking paper and I just cut little hills. That's it. That's all. That's a good point, Dawn. It is a fraction of coffee. And that is, you know, it's such a wonderful thing. I love having the fact that we have a hobby that, you know, can really impact somebody's day and make a great, you know, really make somebody feel good about their day and let you know that they're thinking about them, you know? All right, so I'm going to share something with you. You can see that this is kind of like above it. Can you see that? And that's because I'm going to create this little inlet. And that's how I got the little inlet here, is this way. So I just put that up there. So these were literally, I just kind of used my scissors and did something, but that way I can make sure that my little chair is actually in the sand. All right, so I'm just going to mask those off, and that's going to be right there. All right, now there's one more thing I'm going to do, and let me grab my mat. So this is not the mat from my stamping wheel. This is the sticky mat. This is the sticky mat grid. It's a little bit less sticky, and I like that because then my paper isn't like super stuck to it. I still have a little bit of play. I'm not like trying to rip it off. And what I can do with this, because it does lose its stick, is I can just grab, this is just the Mr. Mister, and it just has some water in it. So I'm just going to spray some water in, and I can come in with my cloth and just wipe this down. Dries real fast, and that's how I can get my stick back. And it just cleans up really well. So I know it's got all this paint on it because this is what I use to blend on, but it just comes right back. So now it's a little bit more sticky. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to put my card down. Now I want that separation. If you look out at the ocean, there's this like separation where the horizon is like super, you know, clean. And so I want that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper, and this is about how wide I want my ocean. And I'm just going to take this, and I really don't even need to take this backing off, but I'm going to do it just for this, if I can get it. And this is going to help me to make a delineation between my sky and my ocean. And I want my sky to be right here, I think. Yeah, I think I want my sky to be right here. Okay, and that's going to give me a nice little sky. So now I have that clear delineation line. So, hi, Helena. How are you? I'm so happy that you're here. And thank you so much for sharing this. You too can be entered to win a $15 gift card if you share this live while we're live. And we have Keisha behind the badge today. She will be announcing that winner when we are at the end of our program, which is in about 30 minutes. I got to get going. All right, so I'm going to use the cloud scene stencil. This is an oldie but a goodie. I can't believe this is 2020. It feels like it's been an Altenew product forever. This, hands down, is the best cloud stencil that I have ever used. So it's so amazing. Enchanted Beginning set. And that is a great question. Was that on? I would probably check the Altenew YouTube channel. That's where I would start. Or you can take a look, and you can even email Altenew and see what the heck they have. So you can. Oh, thank you so much. Or I got to say, Keisha can put it in there. Cloud Scene Stencil is super fabulous. So I'm going to use this, and you get these absolutely amazing clouds. And I'm going to use 3 different colors. I'm going to use Ocean Waves, which is from the Cool Summer Night inks. I'm going to use Sweet Dreams, which is from, Dewdrops from Sweet Dreams. And then I'm also going to use Sea Glass, which is also from Cool Summer Night. Because when we think about that sky, it has these levels of greens and blues, and sometimes it can even have a little bit of purple depending on what time of day it is. All right, so I'm going to grab my mini blending tools. And I'm just going to use one. And I'm going to start off a little bit darker. So I'm going to come up here at Ocean Waves. And this thing is great because I'm just going to kind of spin it. And once I feel like, I'm going to start on my stencil, and then I'm going to push up and get that ink up onto the paper. And since this is Bristol cardstock, it's really, really super nice to blend. And you can see how you get these beautiful looking things. Oh, yeah, Sue. Things like that. Isn't it just, this is best. And I love the idea of the pink and adding the pink and orange as well. And oh my gosh, Laura, I hope you have this stencil. This is definitely one to put on the list if you don't have it. It's definitely, in my opinion, hands down the best one to do. So I'm going to go a little dark, and you can see I'm trying to put in some little layers in there to try to get that going. I'm going to add a little bit of dark sky, I guess, underneath my umbrella, just because I know it will be a little bit darker in there. So I'm just going to add just a little bit more in there and then fade that out. All right, so now I'm going to push that to the side, and I'm going to come in with some dewdrops. And dewdrops is just a little bit greener. And I can even use this just to kind of like pounce that off. And now I'm going to come in and just add a little bit of a greener look. And you can see I just kind of keep spinning this, and that's what's going to give me the different look where you get these undulating and rippling clouds. So pretty. Is that right, Keisha? Oh my gosh, I hope you have this one. This one is fabulous. It's the only one I will grab. If I need to make a sky, I start with this. In fact, it's one of the ones I barely put away because I'm always using it. I'm using it a lot, like if I'm making a scene that has a sky. Rainbows, anything at all. This is just really the best one. So now you can see that's like a little bit different. Good, I'm glad. Get this in there. Yes, get this on there. On your wish list. All right, so here's Sea Glass. And now remember, Sea Glass is with Ocean Waves. So this one's going to be a little bit bluer. And then we can put this one in. This is Sea Glass, right? And again, if you want to add a little purple, if you want to add a little bit of orange or green or whatever the heck you want your sky to look like, that's what you want to do. Now, you notice I want to come right up here to the base because I want to make sure that that horizon is really super clear, that we actually do have a horizon out here. And if I see any like big gaps, sometimes if I want those clouds to be a little bit tighter, I'll come on in and I'll add a couple of other things. All right, so that's in there. And I'm going to come in with just a little bit of this. Just want this to be a little bit brighter right there. And right up there. Okay, that's looking good. And in just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now that I have this, I want to delineate this out. So I'm just going to take a little bit of ink. Let me grab that 2 drops. I'm just going to take a little bit of ink and I'm just going to push the ink up so you can see that there's like literally a delineated line. Okay, there we go. And now this will make sense when I pull it up. Oh, that's a good idea, Teresa. Yes, Miss Tamp, this is easy. I know one of those things you're like, oh, that looks so easy. No, this one is. This one is. So Marianne, trust me, it's not hard at all. This is really super easy to use. By the way, again, add that masking paper. You can kind of see a little bit of that line. Oops. We don't want this other masking paper off, though. We got to keep that on there. This is what happened to me. All right, so let's make my chair. And Altenew tweezers coming in for the win. I'm going to come this way. I did not have this issue last time because I kept the backing on, but that's okay. I do need this though. Okay. There we go. Okay. So I want to keep that nice line when I come in to do my ocean. So I'm going to take this same guy. So I'm going to move my ink out. And I'm going to take the same guy and I'm going to move him right where that line was. I'm going to come straight down and then put this right on. Okay. So now I still have that nice delineated. Oh, yes, Sue. That's right. Yes. Stormy skies, if you use those grays, gorgeous. And even like a rising sun, you can kind of see this. Like if I ended this, of course, I'm at the beach in the middle of the day, but if you were at the beach at nighttime, that would be kind of cool too. And it would look gorgeous there. All right, let me grab my bone folder and just get these edges down. Okay, hopefully that will be all right. Get that side down too. Okay, so I'm going to show this to you. Don't freak out. I pulled some artist markers. Now, what I like to do, because my artist markers, I have my craft room set up, so I have to walk to get everything. It's kind of my forcing me to get up all the time. So that way, you're not sitting, because, sitting is the new smoking. So what I do is I just have this container and I just grab all the colors that I want, and then I just throw them in here, and then I can just pull at will for the colors that I want to have. So that way I don't have these like rolling around on my desk and I don't lose them. So these little bags, or if you have a little nifty container, this was from the Container Store, I just throw it in here and then I pull from here. So you guys will see that I don't end up using all of this. This is kind of like my dream list, and then I pull from here just to make it a little bit easier. All right, so I want to do an ocean. So I'm going to grab seashore. So I'm going to grab my seashores, and I'm going to grab deep blue sea. That is Cool Summer Night. This is deep blue sea. And what you guys are looking, or what you're seeing me do right now, is I have delineated out on my markers that there are certain, that's Cool Summer Night. Where's my other? Oh, here they are. They're over on the side. And here's my other guy. All right, so I'm going to grab those. And then I'm also going to grab the blender. So I have the blender. So I don't really need these. So I'm going to move them over here. All right. So you can actually go, and I wish I did do this, but I did this before they were available. And it's a little hard to see. But what I have done is I have put in the name. So that's SS, which is seashore. And this is color number 1. And that's why I'm going to keep looking at the caps. So I'm kind of deciding, like, where's my lightest color? Where's my darkest color? All right, so I'm going to start with the blue sea. And what I'm going to do when I'm blending this is I'm going to come in and I'm just going to make everything, I'm just going to do short little strokes. And these strokes are going to come from both sides. And notice I'm coloring on my mask. And that's because I want to make sure that those are going, so it's not darkest, like right along the edge, kind of doing everything. So this is deep blue sea. This is sea breeze. All right, so I'm just coming in. And all I'm doing is just putting a base layer down, okay? Just a base layer. Now I'm going to come in with my darker color. And so this one is Starlight. This is still Deep Blue Sea. And now I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do a few flicks. So I'm not going to color everything, but I'm going to keep it darker here and a little bit lighter coming down towards my seashore. I'm going to make my flicks up at the top a little bit wider. And then as they come down, they're going to be shorter. And remember that their sentiment, I've put clear embossing powder over that, so that's all protected. And I'm not going to come all the way down to the shore. I'm just going to come a little bit. And again, it's kind of like impressionist painting. Like as you look at this up close, it looks like a mess. But as you kind of pull out, it's going to make sense. So just be mindful. Think about this like impressionist painting. All right, so now I'm going to come in. This is Tide Blue, and I'm going to come under those marks that I've made, and I'm going to stretch the Tide Blue a little bit down. And I don't want to cover everything because I still have that seashore. I'm going to come in with that in just a moment. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm just going to keep going. This is one of those things, it's kind of like it's blending. And so when you think you've done, kind of keep taking a step back and looking at it and being like, is that making sense? Is this working, etc. All right, so now I'm going to come in again. So now I'm going to move over to seashore. And I'm going to now work between these two. So this is really, really great. All right, and thank you so much, Keisha, for putting these sets in. These are like my go-to for any sort of ocean, because the seashore has this like bluish green, and then Deep Blue Sea really is gorgeous. And of course, I'm working this off of the Atlantic Ocean. And if you've ever been in the Atlantic Ocean, it's a little bit greener on this side versus the blue, the really gorgeous blue that is the Pacific Ocean. And if you happen to live in, you have Cece here who's up in Sweden, so I don't know what the North Sea looks like, but you can kind of base it on where it is that you live. All right, so this one is Lagoon. All right, and I'm going to come in here. And the blender, the colorless blender, which we're going to end up using in just a moment, is going to kind of smooth all of this over. All right, and now I'm going to come in. I'm actually going to skip 2, and I'm going to go right to this. So when you have a lighter color, it means that there's less pigment and more of the alcohol. And that is going to cause a smoothing of everything. And so you can see I'm kind of taking this one, which is Mountain Mist, and I'm going to kind of come right over everything and just smooth it all out. And that's just going to smooth those lines. And again, we're thinking about this like an impressionist painting. All right, so now I'm going to come in, and I can keep at this. I just don't have a lot of time, and I want to get to the other stuff. But I could keep at this until I love it. Now, when you have it, you can come in, and what the colorless blender does, it acts like an eraser. So this is pretty much alcohol. And what this will do is it will start to lift color. And so this is going to make it a little bit hazier. And so I want it to be hazier up near the horizon. And this will take your embossing off. So just be mindful of that. So as this sits, it's going to work its way into the ink that you have on here. And I'm just going to do a couple of little bubbles. And this is just going to give it a little bit of a haze to it. And again, it's just going to haze it through. So that's going to make it nice and soft. So, oh, thank you so much, Tracy. I'm so glad you're here. And oh, good, Melanie. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. We are live on Mondays and Thursdays on the Altenew Facebook and YouTube channels. And we would love for you to be here. So it's always great. And that's what I love about Altenew is you have this amazing kind of look. All right, I'm going to pull this up just so you guys can see where we're at. And so now you can see that nice delineation between all of those things. And again, we're going to be adding colors and stuff like that. And now we're going to get into the sand dunes. So I'm going to pull up my little bottom here. Hopefully my little chair is doing good. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to pull up my rest of it. So you can see that I have that little inlet. That's what I wanted. And again, this is just masking paper. So it just really, really works. Yes, Julie, that blender, I don't pull it a lot, but it's really great if you need to, like I can erase these little spots, but you can just smooth things over and you can start to see, let me pull this up. Can you start to see that that's getting really hazy up there? And so that's where I put a lot of blender. I'm going to add a little bit more over on this other side too. So, all right. I'm just going to add a little bit more blender over on here because I just want to haze this through, especially right at that edge. I just want to blend that edge over. Okay. And it takes a little while to see it. So just be mindful of that as you go along. Okay. So for my grouping down here, I'm going to grab coffee break. Here's coffee break. And I think I just want to do coffee break. I love coffee break. Okay, so coffee break starts out with this color called sand dunes, which is why it's so perfect for this. And what I'm going to do with coffee break is I'm going to do the same thing where I'm just going to go right over and I'm just making a little line. And again, I have these all masked, so I'm going to be coloring that in just a moment. I'm not going to be super concerned about streaky lines or anything like that because what's going to happen is I'm going to add embossing powder to this and I'm going to do my own blend of embossing powder and I'll show you what I mean when I get to that. All right, so I'm just going to come in. I'm just putting down a base layer. This is just helping me to understand what I'm doing. In my mind, I'm thinking about actually, Keisha is behind the badge. Fabulous Keisha. And thank you so much, Joanne, for sharing this. We have about 10 minutes left. So let us know where you have shared this and you will be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. And we talked about some amazing products today. We have the Cloud Scene stencil to get this gorgeous background. And then I'm using the Summer Wishes stamp set. And I know for those of you who happen to live in a place where there's a lot of beach, this is probably normal. But for me, this is where I would love to be right now, is at the beach. All right, so I have, this is my coffee break artist markers. And again, if you have any questions about artist markers, I know that we covered inks and we've covered, just kind of doing some different blending. And we're going to go over some simple coloring when I get to there. All right, so I have this little inlet and I want to kind of emphasize that. So this is the darkest color, which is espresso. And if you're afraid of that, you're like, I can't do it. Just move to the second darkest color. In fact, I'll do that just so it just helps you to kind of map it out. So this is Rocky Shore. And like I said, if you're not sure, you can just move to that second color. And that's going to help you to be a little brave and to put that color in. So I want to make sure we're going to be dark behind the chair. And under the chair is going to be dark. And this side of the chair is going to be a little dark. And under my little flip-flops are going to be dark. So now when I come in with espresso, and I'm just making little flicking motions. And what I like about this technique is I really can't screw up because I'm going to fix it with the embossing powder. So even if it looks like a mess, this is if it's a mess before it's a success kind of a thing. So even if it looks like a mess, you're going to fix it. So all these kind of lines we're going to blend through. So don't worry about it yet. It's okay. And again, I have those masks for those of you who are like, whoa, wait a minute. You are coloring on your image and it looks weird. It's a mask. And so Altenew has this really super fabulous masking paper, and that's what I am using. So that way I can get all of this depth And then we're going to do my image list. Oh, yes, Sandra, it is so fabulous. I got to tell you, that stencil is just super great. It's definitely the one that I use and I reach for. All right, so now I'm coming in with number 3, and this is Mocha. And this is just going to help me to blend between my two colors. And that's just going to give that little piece. So remember, this was all light. And I'm just coming in to blend all of this out. And now I'm going to come in. I'm actually going to skip Rocky Shore. I'm going to go right over to Sand Dunes. And now I'm just going to blend all this through. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to pause here because I only have a little bit of time. But you can see how it's starting to blend in. So I could kind of play around with this a little bit more, get a little bit more. But I'm going to move on just to show you guys where I'm heading to. Okay, so now I want to add in things that look like sand. So I'm going to grab a little melange of embossing powder. So I have antique gold, because that's sand. I have raspberry, which I know you're like, what? But I'm just going to use a little bit of that. And then this one is golden peach, and that is fabulous. And then I also want to add some clear embossing powder. And that's just going to give a little bit of shine for this well. Oh, that's so great, Christian. It's something that it's really nice to have these masking cards. And that's why we were talking about postage earlier, because it's, it's a little hard to deal with. And is there a key to understanding the numbering system? Laura, I got to tell you, I don't bother. I think the best way to go is to just use the names. So all of the names are here. And since they correspond to Altenew's colors anyway, so this is the coffee break set. So I can go ahead and I'm going to grab, I'll grab my coffee break set that I have right here. And so here is espresso, and then here's espresso. And so I know that these correspond to each other. And so that's what I go for. So you got it, Kathy. 4 powders. Here we go. Are we ready? Okay, so you want to make sure that these guys stick to this. And I tried using water droplets, and that wasn't super fabulous. So I'm going to actually grab embossing ink. Now, I'm not going to go all over this with the embossing ink. I'm actually just going to add a little bit. And I have a designated mini blending tool for embossing ink. And I can go right over my mask. That's okay. It was a little bit difficult to come off last time, but that's totally fine. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this because that's going to become a mess. I'm going to grab a piece of paper out. And I'm just going to sprinkle. And that's all I'm doing is I'm just going to sprinkle. And then I'm going to heat set when I'm done. So I'm going to start out with my clear. Just going to grab a pinch and I'm just going to sprinkle a little on. And again, the clear is just to preserve my brown, all my sand that's on here, and just to give it a little bit of shine. So we're not going to see the clear, right? Because it's going to emboss clear. Okay, got a little bit on there. And then I'm going to come on. Oh, thank you so much, Kim. That sky, I got to tell you, it's not me. That is totally and 100% the stencil. All right, so this is the peach. And the peach, when it dries, is going to give us that sand look. And this is so neat to use. And I'm doing my best to not get this into my ocean, but let's face it, they sometimes blend together. Oh, that's a great idea, Christian. You do ink blending in the background with the color family. And so I don't have to be, yeah, they pair perfectly. They really do, which is really great. All right, this is just a little bit of raspberry. And I'm just poking this around. And I hate that I got all of that in there. So I'm just going to kind of mush that just so it spreads out a little bit. And Melanie, I hope you try this. And Erica, thank you so much for sharing this. And you too. We got a few more minutes to go. We got 5 minutes. Keisha, what do you think? And if you share this live while we're live, you will be entered to win a gift card. All right, so that's a little bit of that gold. And that gold is just going to give a little bit of an extra shine to this. Okay. Now I'm going to come in. I'm going to get my heat tool nice and hot, and then I'm going to come in. All right, here we go. And I'm just moving my stuff out of the way. And I'm just letting my heat tool really like warm up, because once I get in there, I just want to go for it. And I don't want to, wait anything. And that powder will stay because of the fact that I added that embossing ink down, even though it's just a little bit with my blending tool. All right, so I'm going to come up the top and I'm going to go. And since this is in little sprinkles, you can kind of see it starting to move and starting to color. And that's going to help with our little marker blending. So it looks like it's all the way through. There's a little bit too much picture here. You can do as if you're like, I want a little bit more gold, or I want a little bit more la la la. Then you can add that in when it's warm. And that's cool. And so you end up with this really cool little shine over all of that. So it looks a little bit. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here, Leslie. And thank you so much, Dawn. Yes, the multi embossing powders. I hope you get them out, Sue. I hope you get them out. As you guys know, I love using embossing powders. It's like my favorite thing. I love messing with them. It's still magic to me, Still love it because it's magic. All right, so now I'm taking my little, I'm taking my masks off, excuse me. Now I can take these and it still has some life left in it. So I'm just gonna put this right on my packaging and then I can take it off and use it again. This one gets a little tricky because of the pole here. And so if you can save it, that's fabulous. If not, you guys were with me when I made this, so it really wasn't that hard. It's really quick to do. So I'm hoping to save it, but if I can't, I'm going to be okay. Yep, that's it. It's gone. I just ripped it. So we're going to move on. So again, now I'm not trying to save it. I'm just going to rip this off. Here we go. Not attempting. All right. This will come off. The reason why this is stuck a little bit is not because of the paper. It's because of what I have done to it. So I have heat set on it. I have colored on it. I have stenciled on it. And this sucker has just done amazing well with holding up and protecting what I have behind here. So this is just a true testament to Altenew masking paper. It is really super fabulous. Now you'll notice with the slats of this chair, I have some open ocean back there that obviously I could not get to. So I'm just going to take my markers and very, very carefully go in between the slats of the chair and do that. Oh my gosh, Dawn, yes. Do you have issues with the mask removal with the heat? No, it's okay. Like I said, you can see me kind of coming in. And again, the Altenew tweezers are really, really helping here. I'm just kind of peeling this off. I did have issues because I heated up that adhesive behind it, but I'm okay to take a little bit of time. But you can see my image is still beautiful. So it's coming up relatively easily. I can come up and just grab this and it will come off. I just need to get a little bit of a bigger section here. Here we go. But you can see how nice my image is in the back. Now I'm going to grab, when I color this, I wanted to use some colors that really complemented and really kind of were the star of the show, because I had used, blues and browns, which are relatively neutral colors. So I chose to use pink. And so I'm going to use the cherry blossom set, I think. And I'm just going to grab that out of my bucket. All right, so you can see how beautiful that is. So now we have that. So that's great. Purposely color over the mask. I guess you could, but it's kind of messy. And the mask itself, like the paper won't, the paper won't hold the ink very well. So that's why I'm pulling it off. And Dawn, just to let you know, all I did was I used the Altenew masking paper and I just stamped on it with black ink. Here they are. I just stamped on it with black ink and then used my fine tip scissors to cut it out. And that's it. It's really fabulous. Easy to do. All right, so I'm just going to grab a couple of things. So I'm going to grab my Rock Collection Gray #1. And I'm also going to grab a #3. So I have that. And then I want to grab my pinks. So I'm going to grab some Cherry Blossom. cherry blossom. And I'm just going to grab some pinks because I know we are over time. I know. So what I did here is I just used, again, some simple coloring, just some cherry blossom right on the umbrella. And you can see I was trying to get a little bit of, it's just a little bit of shading here. Very, very simple, just by adding in some colors. And then I just used the darker of the set in order to add some shading. And I wanted my chair to be white because I had so much pink going on. I didn't know what else color to do. And so I ended up just using a little bit of gray, and just a little bit of gray and shading the side really makes your white chair kind of pop. And you can see I just made my pink flip-flops a little pink. And this was permanent black ink, Christian. You would not use obsidian ink with artist markers because that's going to bleed. And so the permanent black ink is the best ink to use. And this is the one that I use pretty much for every single medium because it will not falter on you. It will work with everything you have. So it's really, really great. And then this little guy here, the little hat, I use Delectable Delights. It's a really great little color to use on that one. All right, so I'm going to, I know we're over time, Keisha, so I know we have to go, but I just wanted to say, I hope you guys try this. Try the masking paper, try, just a little cute, fun summer set like Summer Wishes, such a cute little set. And of course, we love to see what it is that you make. So please tag us if you post on social media and hashtag Altenew. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for stopping by and taking a moment out of your day to choose yourself and to put a little crafty time in there. And thank you so much for letting Altenew craft your life. And on behalf of Keisha, myself, and Altenew, I wish you all a fabulous day and happy crafting. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being here.